What's going on, guys? We got another episode of Chats with Max. We got Javon
Here we go.
Alvin.
What up, guys? What up?
The killer over here. He's a master of a lot of skills over here. We got music, acting, production.
Yeah, man.
He does it all. So I'm super excited to have you on the show, man.
Hey, I'm excited to be here, bro. I'm excited. When you just showed me the footnotes just now, I got really excited looking through it. So it's going to be a really good interview.
Javon, you got a lot going on. So let's kind of start from the beginning. Javon's out here acting. A lot of people found him through him doing production with Alphalete and Christian Guzman.
For sure, yeah.
But ever since then, everyone's seen his character and him blowing up in all kinds of directions. And he's out here in LA pursuing acting. He's had the dream since 5 years old. Why don't you give me kind of a little backstory?
Crazy.
Like, what was going on there in the brain of 5 years old?
I just need you guys to know this man does his research. Because I was looking through the notes. I was like, wait, how does he know that? And even just saying that, like, I've been wanting to do it since I was 5 years. Like, how does he know that? He does his research. So respect to that.
I appreciate that.
Wait, so what was your question?
I was trying to just give a little bit of background on you. Anything else you wanted to give the audience a little piece of what you're about before we dive into your backstory, maybe?
I feel like it's hard to like wrap everything up in one sentence. And
it doesn't have to be one sentence.
Yeah,
no worries.
yeah. Well, so.
Just don't give them all the gold right now.
I just love all things creative. It's the best way to describe it. I love all things creative. Even if it means me just kind of stepping back and admiring someone else's work. Like something as simple as dance. Like, I'm not a great dancer, but I really enjoy dance. So just anything creative that you can think of, photography, videography, acting, production, music, just anything creative. I love it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
And you guys can definitely see that if you kind of step into his college story. He had a full ride off musical theater to Texas State, right? Yeah. So there you go. There's proof in the pudding right there. But let's rewind back to 5 years old. You're out from New Orleans, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
At that time. What was going on in 5-year-old Javon's head?
So I don't know, man. I think I was, definitely credit to my mom and to my parents because they pushed me. I think they saw something in me when I was a kid. And just kind of wanted to push me into that light. And I remember at a really young age, I don't know if it was at 5, maybe around like 7 or 8, I was doing a show at my elementary school. And I remember at rehearsals, there was this one kid and there was this one part in the show, he could never remember his line. Like, it was going over and over. We would do it over and over again. I remember at like 7 years old, I was like, come on, man.
What's going on? Is it an amateur hour over here?
Yeah, we're like 7 years old. And so
I got that cloud at 7, man.
Yeah, the show starts, right? And we're on stage and there's like a packed house, and we're doing the show, and then his line comes up, and he just like freezes. He just freezes.
And he had a lead role or what?
It was just like a one-liner, like it was like a kid's show. You know what I mean? So it was just like a little one-liner, like he was supposed to walk up and like say something on the mic, and he just froze. He got nervous. And like I remember the entire audience was completely quiet, and 7-year-old me took the initiative to go over to the mic and say his line, and the show continued to go on. And it was really cool, and it was like really like it was really like awesome feeling, like being that young and feeling like, hey, like I did that. You know what I mean? Man. And I remember that pretty vividly. So yeah, man.
New Orleans, man. Kind of run me through you.
New Orleans.
At what age did you move to Texas, by the way?
Like 10 or 11.
Okay, so
like
you
that.
remember
it was really right
before
before Hurricane Katrina.
Right? I heard that. Dodging hurricanes, I've heard.
Yeah, and then I moved to LA a week before Hurricane Harvey, which is crazy. That hit Houston. Yeah. But yeah, what were you saying?
So out in New Orleans, you were out there till you were like 10. Do you remember a little bit about your childhood over there? Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah, and I was going back a lot also. After I moved, I would go back like pretty much every summer and in between summers as well. New Orleans is a different city. It's a great city. It's full of culture, full of food. But I feel like the tourist side of things is a lot different than the real life side of things.
Yeah.
It was it's a gritty city in ways, and it kind of forced me to grow up a little bit in some ways in areas, but I also was very sheltered, I feel like, by my mom specifically. And I was always so like involved and so busy that it didn't really allow me room to get caught up in a lot of things that like a lot of people do get caught up in New Orleans. So I've been pretty blessed because of that, for sure.
Man, that's good to hear. And you're kind of finding your love for acting, theater, and all things creative in general. And then you come out to Texas. And what was life like coming out? Where were you? Were you Houston or? So
funny story. When I first moved to Texas, so the reason why we moved to Texas is because my mom really wanted to provide a better life for me, get me out of New Orleans, that kind of thing. And so we moved to Texas, and I remember the first place that we moved into, it got broken into, and so because it was like a not so great area, but it was a step
while
up
you were
from New
home
Orleans.
or.
No. I was coming back from school, I remember we drove up and like the door was broken into.
I mean.
And so that happened. And so she was like, we got to get out of here. And so we moved to another area in Houston that's called Katy. And this area is, it's a little bit nicer of an area, like, upper middle class kind of area. And so I honestly was kind of culture shocked at first because it was just like nothing but white people everywhere. Like nothing but white people. And like coming from New Orleans, that's not what it's like.
Yeah.
And so I was definitely culture shocked at first, but I mean, I adjusted pretty quickly. I've always loved culture for whatever reason. I've always loved different types of people. And so I adjusted quickly and got into my rhythm and started playing sports again and getting into theater and doing everything. So it was cool.
Definitely, man. Well, okay, so you landed this full ride to Texas State. How did that happen? And in musical theater?
Man, I had the most amazing directors in high school. They provided for me in so many ways and, pushed me and like really just did everything to prepare me for my college auditions and stuff like that. And so when I went in, I just kind of did my thing and I don't know, I was just blessed enough to get an offer from the school,
I mean, that's amazing. It's kind of a godsend, to be honest.
100%. It was definitely a really cool thing. I didn't actually get my degree in musical theater. I ended up kind of changing just because it was so demanding when I got to college. Monday through Saturday, you have your classes, and I had to take morning classes because of the demanding schedule. Mm-hmm. So it was like I take classes from like 8 to like 11, and then I had a break from like 11 to like 12:30, and then from about 12:30 to 10 p.m. at night, Monday through Saturday was rehearsal. So it was wild. It was really, really demanding.
I had a couple friends that were music majors in college, and like they kind of went through the same stuff. Yeah. Like just constantly practicing. And if you don't practice, your professors notice.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be on your game. You got to be sharp, really sharp.
And switching to communications, I mean, did you lose pretty much your whole scholarship in doing that too?
Oh yeah, because it was musical theater. So if you're not doing musical theater, then
it looks like you fell into your production work kind of then too. Mm-hmm. You were doing journalism, right? You were a reporter around school.
Stuff. Like what the heck?
Hey, trying to off the riff right here. You were doing journalism, being a reporter, mobbing around with the camera, and then you're like, hey, let me make some money on the weekends, right?
Yeah. So what I was doing,
you were actually paying for part of your college with that, right?
Exactly. So what I did was
you, by the way, hustler mentality, because a lot of people would be like, man, I can't handle this. I'm gonna go back home and go to community college.
You gotta have that hustle mentality, bro. So basically, what happened was I changed my major to electronic media. Electronic media? Yeah, electronic media. And so I got a job at the University Star at my school, and I got a reporting job basically. And what they would do is you could rent out cameras to do your school reporting. So like I could go to like a football game and do a cover story on it, or like do something on the quad, whatever. And so what I would do is I started renting the cameras on a Friday because I had to turn it back in on a Monday. You can't turn it on the weekend. So I would rent the cameras on a Friday, try to do like a story on a Friday, and then on the weekends I would try to just do whatever jobs I could do. Like if I could do a music video for someone who was at school, or like what really got it popping was wedding. And I started doing weddings. I was just telling him about that, just telling Jacob about that I would just start doing weddings, and that's where you kind of start making a little bit more money. And I was able to save up and buy my own
weddings are pretty good
stuff.
Money.
Oh yeah. Well, they weren't that great in college just because like most of my friends were still kind of young that were getting married. So they weren't like just as financially stable. As I kind of continued to grow in it, I started working for this company. I did it for a summer called A&A, which is like the largest wedding photography, videography company in Houston. And we started making some decent money with that.
Let's go, man. Cool. I love it. I mean, I can relate with that because I started renting out my cameras for my radio show over at Azusa Pacific, and on the weekends we go do some freelance jobs.
There you go.
That, so
exactly.
You got to,
gotta flex it.
Yeah. Something that surprised me that I was reading about you. You were saying you work 60 to 80 hours at an orphanage or boarding school.
Not orphanage, boarding school. Yeah.
While you were in school.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you were full-time, part-time in school while you were doing that.
I was still full time. I think this was my junior year and then senior year minus the last semester.
I mean, how did you survive doing that? That's wild.
Man, honestly, the job itself was so rewarding. So basically at this boarding school, I was an assistant hall director, and what that meant was that I basically just had to be at the dorm, just kind of like mentoring. It was basically like being a big brother to 100 boys, and making sure they did their homework, making sure they were on schedule, talking to them when they're getting in trouble, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And so it was just like, it was a really rewarding experience because I'm an only child, and so I've never really had like a little brother or a big brother.
Okay. So you were kind of able to give them something that maybe you wanted growing up too, 100%, right?
100%. And I was actually just talking to a friend a couple of days ago about how I'm thinking about doing a mentorship program, just because I like that feeling, and I miss it, and I've kind of been taken away from that since I had that job. Yeah, it was pretty rewarding in itself. So it managed itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I mean, I feel like it would almost be hard to find time to eat with that kind of schedule, man.
Well, so I would eat with them. So it's like,
okay.
It's like I would wake up. I would wake up before class, and I would have to supervise them at breakfast.
Yeah.
And so I would eat breakfast then, and then I would go to class, and then I would just eat. I would eat lunch or something like that when I was at class, and when I got back to work, I would eat dinner when they go to dinner because I would have to supervise them at dinner. So yeah, it was actually a pretty sweet deal when I was in college because they gave me an apartment on campus. They gave me free meals, my cable, everything, internet was all paid for. Okay. So it's like I didn't really have bills. The pay wasn't that great, but
I mean,
I didn't have no bills money. And I didn't have to pay meals either.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a sweet deal for college.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so you're kind of building up this production company. What kind of level? I found recently you're calling it. Is it Viewer Studios? Yeah,
Viewer
right?
Studios.
What level was it at right around when you were finishing college? Because I know you kind of ran into Christian Guzman like somewhere in the middle of school, right?
Yeah.
So were you kind of building up your production while you kind of crossed paths with him, or what was going on there?
So it was just kind of like I was doing, like I said before, I was kind of doing whatever jobs I could do. Like if I had a buddy that wanted to do a music video, like I got you. If I had someone who was getting married, I got you. If you want to try to, I actually did a commercial for Krispy Kreme that opened in our college town.
Okay.
So it was just like whatever I could do, I was willing to do. I remember when I met Christian, we were actually both walking our dogs. We lived like right across from each other, our apartment complex. And we were both walking our dogs, and we just like ended up chatting it up. And he was telling me about everything he was doing and what he kind of wanted to pursue. And I was telling him that like I kind of do production. And so we were just like, yeah, let's just do a video. And then Gymshark sent him his first package, and I was like, yo, bro, let's do it. Let's do a video. Like just show him like you really appreciate the package. And we did it, and they loved the video. And the next thing you know, they were flying us out to the UK to do the Body Power Expo.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then after that, I mean,
that first video was on spec, right? Like you weren't getting paid for that, right?
Yeah, no, we were just like, let's do it. You know?
I mean, that kind of shows you. I mean, you take a shot and you might get rewarded.
100%. And I was just talking to a buddy of mine yesterday too, just about this. Basically, the same thing is sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and see what potential can come from something. Not necessarily always be so focused on like the money right here and now, because the money's gonna come as long as you keep working and as long as you keep providing something that has value. The money's gonna come, you know. Yeah. So don't sell yourself short, but just kind of know when to bite the bullet a little bit when an opportunity kind of presents itself.
It's kind of a hard thing too, because then sometimes you'll see people get caught up in just doing a lot of free work.
Yeah.
So it's like, where do you draw the line at the same time, you know?
Yeah, it is tough. And I mean, I think that's open for everyone's own interpretation, and everyone has to make those decisions for themselves. But I think as long as you keep at the forefront that you don't want to sell yourself short, and you see that that things are starting to grow, then you kind of should know, okay, this is kind of a point where I can kind of start doing this a little bit more and scale back on the free stuff.
Now, I mean, yeah, we mentioned Christian. Give us a little bit of that whole chapter. I know we're on this huge, big one, whole different life story right now. You're saying you're barely even in the fitness industry now. But I mean, just for the listeners, I'm sure they want to hear a little bit about
let's talk
your
about
whole
it, bro.
story going on with Christian and you.
So basically, we went to the Body Power Expo, and that was pretty cool. And I did like this kind of like a 20-minute short video for Gymshark on the whole weekend. That happened, and then after that happened, I went back to school. Christian dropped out, and I remember he was like, "Hey, bro, whenever you're done with the semester, if you want to come back to Houston for the summer, like let's do this thing. Like I'm getting a gym, I'm doing this, I'm starting my brand, all of that." And so I was like, "Yeah, bro, let's do it." Like I didn't really have anything going on in the summer. I didn't have like a job or anything. I was going to summer classes, so I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." Went there for the summer, and we just started making videos. I can't even remember how many videos we made a week. It was a lot though.
What size was he, by the way, too? Because I'm sure it wasn't like you didn't really know what was going to happen with him, right? You were just kind of working along with him at the time, right?
I think he was when we first started working, I think he was around somewhere between like 20 and 40K subscribers. Something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. You had that chapter. What was the catalyst for you to kind of move away from this family you've made in the fitness industry into coming out into LA?
Well, so
what was going on at the time? I mean, you're doing some marketing with Alphalete, doing your thing. So
as great as everything was, and as phenomenal as an experience, and like I'm extremely grateful for everything with my time with like Christian and Alphalete and everything. There just kind of always comes a point where you got to do what you got to do for yourself, you know, and you kind of you got to pursue what you want to pursue for yourself. Like that whole route was something I'm extremely grateful for, but it was never anything I kind of planned on. It was just something that kind of happened, and it gained attention, and people were connecting to it, which is amazing, but it was never something that I necessarily wanted to do for my life. And so I just kind of came to a point where it was just like, I need to do what I need to do for my life, because I know what's inside of me, and I know what passions I have, and I know what I want to do ultimately. And so if I'm not working in that, then ultimately those dreams are just going to die, It
sounds like you saw that you were helping build Christian's dream, which was awesome, but you still had this fire inside that was just pushing you to go chase your own dream.
100%. And it took me 100% out of a comfort zone. Like, I was making great money in Houston. Everything was set. Everything's cheaper in Houston.
Big time.
Yeah, I pretty much know everyone in Houston. I don't know everyone in Houston, but I mean, compared to LA, I'm going from a market where I know a lot of people and I have a lot of connections to somewhere where I don't know anyone at all, basically. And it's a whole new industry, it's a whole new climb, it's a whole new battle, it's a whole new world. Shout out to Ariel. And so it was just like,
plug.
Yeah, it was just like I took myself completely out of my comfort zones, and I'm still not 100% comfortable, which is great, and it's rewarding every time I feel like I'm taking another step. It's like, okay, I'm working, I'm making strides. Like, this is gonna happen. Okay, like, what's the next move? So it's exciting. It is kind of scary just flipping your life 100%, but it is rewarding if you make it.
You weren't coming out here just on a whim at the same time too, right? I mean, I've kind of heard, I think from another podcast you did, that you were out on, what were you on, like a production job out in Belize or something?
Yeah.
And you got a call back for this audition that the producers of The Voice reached out to you on via IG,
which is funny,
right?
because it's something I've never even talked about on social. I got reached out to by a talent agent of The Voice. They invited me to come out and do a private audition. I went into the private audition. They said they call you back sometime in 2 months if they want you to come back for the executive.
Where was the private audition at? You were still in Houston,
Austin,
by the way.
Yeah, it was in Austin. It was Austin Mother's Day weekend. I remember I took my mom out to Austin for like Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And then we went to the audition, and then I drove back home to Houston, and then I went to Belize about a month later. Actually, I went to Belize 2 times that summer. And the second time I went to Belize, that's when I got the call. And I just happened to be on Wi-Fi, which is crazy because you don't always have Wi-Fi when you're in Belize.
Yeah.
But I just happened to be on Wi-Fi. I got the call. They were like, hey, we want to bring you out to LA for the executive producer. And I had already been thinking that I wanted to move to LA. So with these things happen, it was just kind of like, like maybe like if the show goes through, if I get on the show, maybe like I should just take that jump. And so that happened, and I took the jump.
I like it, man. Well, what were you out in Belize for, by the way?
So
shout out to Belize. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. Shout out to Belize. Belize is an amazing country. I love it so much. I've been there 5 or 6 times now. But I was out there because so with my production company that I own, we've been filming some commercials, some ads and stuff like that out there for their television and entertainment market. And so we've just been doing that. And honestly, I got a lot of, hopefully some big plans that are going to kind of go through with Belize as far as television shows, original TV shows, movies, all the above. I don't want to speak on it too much, but that's one of my goals for sure, is to get some stuff going out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. You had this call back out in LA, and you ended up getting on the show, right?
Yeah.
And you're moving out. Did you have some buddies you moved out with, or what's going on?
Honestly, my entire process has been so easy, honestly, because I've seen some friends come to LA and like it's been a little bit of a struggle, and it's just like, man, I've been so blessed, honestly. So I was already thinking about moving to LA, and a buddy of mine that I went to school with, his name's Timmy, he had moved to LA about 6 months before with a job with 3M. And so he hit me up and he was like, hey bro, like I got this house, I have an extra room, like I'm looking for a roommate. So if you're thinking about moving to LA still, I think I had mentioned to him. He was like, if you're thinking about moving to LA still, like let me know. And I was like, done.
Yeah.
Like, done. I never even came and looked at the house. I was just like, done. Like sent the deposit and everything. And I was like, I guess I'm moving to LA.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And the LA chapter for Javon's life started right there.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy. Run me through The Voice, man. I mean, what happened there?
So super dope experience. I didn't really go into it with any expectation just because I've never felt like I was a singer. I just kind of like, even when I have sung in the past, it was always for a character. It was never really for myself.
Yeah.
So when they actually reached out to me, I was super humbled by the fact that they even thought that I should go on the show. I was like, what the heck? So I got there. We're there for about a month in a hotel and just like filming, doing all the behind the scenes, all the rehearsals, all the legal stuff for about a month. And man, I was surrounded by so many phenomenal, talented people. Like it was like, and this is like my first experience moving to LA. Like as soon as I moved to LA, I was just like there.
Yeah.
I wasn't intimidated. More so, I was more so inspired.
Okay, I like that.
It was just like, bro, it was like
flip that energy around. I like
that.
Yeah,
man. They were so talented. All of these people, like, this is what they do for a living. Like, they are singers. You know what I mean? Like, they do shows every weekend, throughout the week. Like, they are singers, and they were so amazing. And I learned a lot. I learned a lot from them. And so I got to do my blind audition where you sing for the judges, and they supposed to hit the button if they want you. I didn't get a turn, which is fine, because I love that is my first L in LA. You know what I mean? I love that like the level of production was crazy. Like, it's a multi-million-dollar show in production. So it's just like to be on that show at that level and for that to be my first L in LA, because you're gonna take L's, like, regardless. You know what I mean?
I'm taking tons, so I feel that.
Exactly. You're definitely gonna take L's in this city. So for that to be my first L, I'm super grateful for it, and it was really, really dope experience. Crazy. These
L's, I mean, I've taken a couple on the chin, and I had some good advice from this Latina host. Her name's Pili Montilla, I believe. We got coffee. Yeah, we got coffee a couple months ago, and she said every L, you're getting closer to a W.
Yeah.
And that's what her dad
100%.
Always told her, and I'm like,
100%.
That's inspiring.
100%. You just got to keep going. You got to keep moving.
So walk me through. I mean, you had the voice. You took the L on the chin, but, I mean, you had an awesome experience. And what'd you flip around and continue on with after that?
So I just kind of got straight to the acting grind because I moved here to pursue my career in acting, film acting. And so I just got straight to that, man, just trying to flex my network, seeing how I can get auditions, how I can meet with agents, how I can meet with managers. And, just got to the grind.
From this, previous interview with you I listened to, you were actually getting a lot of auditions yourself.
Yeah, man.
For a long time.
And still, I'm still not represented. Actually, a goal of mine right now for 2019. It was for 2018, but because I've been working on this music project and stuff like that, I've kind of pushed this goal back a little bit. Yeah. But a goal of mine for 2019 is to start my own talent agency. And so, I've been, working and submitting myself and getting all these auditions and stuff like that, at my own willpower. And I've been blessed to, like, book all kinds of work, and still got more to come. So it's been really good.
Run me kind of through your process, if you can, of where you go to look out for these auditions.
So there's different websites that you can start with if you are, a novice actor or novice in the film industry. And there's websites like LA Casting, Backstage, Actors Access, Hollywood Casting. Like, just Google it. Yeah. How to submit for auditions in LA. And so there's all those things, but I think that the things that are most beneficial are if you have friends or associates or anyone in your network that's in the industry, just talk to them. Ask them how can you be of service, or ask them how you can get involved in the industry, if they have anyone they can connect you with. Definitely. Those types of things, because those are the relationships that are going to really get you the work that you want. And those are the relationships that have kind of helped me build and sustain what I've been sustaining in LA, and are honestly opening new doors and new things for new chapters in my career. That's the best way, but I think as a novice, definitely submitting yourself on those websites and stuff like that to just kind of start auditioning and, getting your face out there. And then when you really connect with people that are doing great work, then try to keep that connection going and, try to work on something again in the future and something again and again, and just do great work. And I feel like if you do great work, people are always going to come back.
That's what I love about LA is it's really relationship based.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I've seen you go and kick it with the director you worked with
100%
in the past.
Yeah.
I mean, and just keeping that relationship going, making that bond stronger. And then, hey, guess what? I mean, next time that director's doing a big project, he's going to call up Javon, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's just like, I know we look at this like acting world or like Hollywood, and we like, you see it as like this big grand scale thing, but like everyone's still human. It's the same thing. Like, being a human being is about relationship, is about connection. And so when you work with someone, obviously they're gonna want to work with you again if they had a good time with you. It's just like if you went to lunch with like a buddy of yours and y'all had a really good time, chances are you're gonna want to go to lunch again with them. You know what I mean? If you had a terrible time and he was a jerk when you were at lunch, then like chances are you're not gonna go to lunch with him
exactly,
again.
Yeah.
And so it's like everything's the same. It's really simple in concept once you like kind of remove all the smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Javon, he's being a little bit shy with his background of work. I mean,
what do you mean?
Like, well, you haven't really mentioned the different projects you've been involved with. I mean, you've been on a commercial for Final Fantasy. You recently were on Shark Tank, and you were also working on like a football show with NBC, right?
With NBC, yeah. Bro, this
is all from the hustle. I love it.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I try not to get too caught up in like the names or whatever it is that I've been doing, just because I want to stay just as hungry. I want to feel just as hungry as the first day I moved here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like if I get too caught up in like thinking about what I've accomplished, quote unquote, or whatever it is, then like sometimes you get a little complacent. And so, I mean, I've done great work and I'm so grateful for it. But like, what's next?
Exactly, man. Let's get it. I love it. You're talking about building relationships. Do you have kind of like a group of peers you look up to when it comes to like your acting circle? I mean, I saw you were kicking it with what was it? Madison, who was on
Madison
Jumanji,
is
right?
killing it. Yeah. I think
Madison,
her Goosebumps, did Goosebumps come out already? Goosebumps 2? I think it did come out. Her Goosebumps movie is out too.
Yeah.
She's killing it, man. Madison is killing it. So it's just like I have a few friends that are in the industry and a few friends that are doing other things. I've got a buddy of mine, Corey, who's on MTV, and like he's like the king of MTV right now. And
that's
like,
awesome.
Just people that do different things. Yeah, I mean, I just try to keep in touch with them and just, keep each other accountable and follow their journey so I can congratulate them and everything that they're working on.
Yeah.
And just keep the family close.
One thing I've been wondering, especially, with awesome creatives like you, I mean, do you audit your inner circle, like with the people you surround yourself? You hear a lot of times that you're the average of like the 3 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever the number is.
I mean, yeah, I definitely do that. Sometimes unintentionally, honestly. But I definitely do feel like I try to surround myself with people that I feel like are positive influences, or at least in some way stimulating me. Or in some way, kind of helping me or challenging me, or like someone who's gonna call out the negative things in me and tell me like, hey, like, yo, man, like you gotta get that right. Like something's going on. You know what I mean? Like I love people like that, and so that's definitely what I try to keep myself surrounded by. Yeah, for sure.
And kind of talking about what's been going on with you in acting. I mean, dude, congrats on the most recent premiere you've had with Spark.
I appreciate you, man.
That's awesome.
First time on the big screen.
How was that?
That's super dope.
Was that a thrill or what?
It was, man. I remember. So my mom flew out for the premiere, and she was sitting next to me as we were watching in the movie theater.
That's got to be cool.
And I remember like telling her like, "Hey, give me your hand," and put her hand over my heart, because bro, my heart was like, it was like. And I'm not normally someone who gets like very anxious.
Yeah,
but
let me give the back, or you might be able to do a better job. But
what's up?
The way Sparks is defined, the movie, it's a happy code-typing worker android falls in love with his human female supervisor.
Uh-huh.
Just one problem: every time he sees her, his heart literally explodes. So can you elaborate on like what kind of went on with the story and your character of Neil, right?
Yeah, so Neil is the antagonist of the film, but basically Sparks is like what you said, is a robotic love story. So basically we work in the not so distant future where there are now robots, and there's this one robot who is upgraded, and with his upgrade, he actually, whenever he sees our lead actress, he just kind of falls in love with her, or he has fallen in love with her, and every time he sees her, he just can't take it. The upgrade, something's wrong with it, I guess, and his heart explodes, and so we just happen to keep fixing him, and my role kind of comes in. Neil works with our lead actress, and he is really arrogant, and they've basically hooked up in the past. She doesn't want it to happen again, and he gets really aggressive and inappropriate in the workplace.
Okay.
And so she basically wants to get him fired, and so the story kind of goes along, and by the end she ends up getting him fired. And yeah, it was cool. It was a cool film to work on.
Now, when it comes to these genres of films and projects you work on, I heard that you're really interested in dramas, right?
100%.
But you also respect the art of comedy.
Yeah.
And shout out to King Bosch.
Yeah.
Man, he's a savage. I mean,
killing it.
The guy, he's multifaceted, and I love what you said about the struggle of participating in comedy, because you have to be able to carry on the story, be funny, and not succumb to the pressure of all these cameras and lights around you at the same time. I mean, it's kind of inhuman in a way. You got to fight against it. So
for sure,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, comedy's tough, man. Comedy is tough, 100%.
And when it comes to you preparing for these roles, I mean, walk me through your process of your acting style. I mean, do you just try to live out the character, or?
So there are 2 major approaches to acting. There is method acting, and there's the Meisner approach. So when I was in theater, I used to do a lot of method acting. And so method acting is kind of when you draw on like a past or personal experience. So like if you're supposed to be sad in a scene, it's like, okay, let me think about the time when like my cat died.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, like cat tears come down. You know what I mean? But the Meisner approach is more about taking what you can find, one, from the script about that character, and really just living in the moment and being true to those emotions, true to those feelings, true to what comes out, not really trying to force something. And so it's been a little bit of a challenge, like flipping my approach.
How do you balance the two? Because like being true and then really just thinking of that emotion. I mean, it seems like that they're really closely paralleled,
and
right?
It could be, yeah, but I just try to stay in the moment. I try not to think about something past. I try to just like lose my sense of self, which is actually kind of a scary thing, bro, because like for instance, in that film Sparks, there was a scene where we're in the office and I'm basically attempting to molest the lead actress, and it gets really hands-on. It gets like I'm choking her, like it's really kind of aggressive, and I remember just feeling guilty after. Like I had to hug her for like 5 minutes after we were done filming that scene. And so it's just like when you method act, you kind of lose your sense of self, because like you what you're doing is real. You know what I mean? Even though you know you're acting in a sense, sometimes you just lose yourself, but it's like it feels real, which is crazy what like the brain can do. But
is that your primary style of acting then, method?
It's what I've been really working on, yeah.
I find people say it's really controversial because, like you said, you can lose yourself. I mean, you've seen Jim Carrey become his character.
100%.
There's a documentary on that. Heath Ledger, super famous. I mean, but he killed the Joker role, by the way. Shout out to Heath Ledger. R.I.P.
Heath Ledger.
If I can say his name right. Yeah, man. I mean, do you ever worry about losing yourself like that?
No, I always try to spend some time, and actually, like if I like for instance like a role like that, I definitely try to spend some time after and refocus and kind of affirm myself and who I actually am, and what I'm actually about and what kind of person I actually want to be. And so I think it's just important to always kind of just maintain that retrospect and that perspective of who you are, and just like kind of affirm yourself and who you are. So I'm pretty confident in knowing who I am. And so I think as long as I continue to just like refresh that after roles and stuff like that, every role is not as gritty as that, but
definitely.
As long as I refresh that, I think I'm good.
I understand though how easy it is to get into that though, because you're really obsessing about being able to be this character.
Yeah, for sure. You want to do a good job, so you want to really just dive into it as much as possible. So yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about other experiences you had. You've done dramatic works, you've done commercial. I've seen some of the skits you've done. Well, do you see a future in any, more skits going on, or are you trying to stay more dramatic?
I don't know about the skits necessarily. I mean, maybe it could be something fun and just dive into just for fun practice with comedy.
Yeah.
But really, my focus and what I really want to pursue is just like drama, suspense, action, thriller type films. That's just like my lane. That's what I love to watch, and so that's what I really want to create. And so I'm actually working on a treatment right now for a film. Remember I told you I kind of want to work on some stuff in Belize. I'm working on a treatment right now for a film there, and all goes well, then we'll be seeing a movie from there. That'd be amazing. Dream come true.
Any teasers you can give us?
No teasers, because I'm still working on the concept. I'm still working on everything. Like we're at square one. For
anyone who's not with the lingo of acting, what is the treatment?
So treatment is basically like a synopsis of the film. So basically like a overview of what the film is about.
But not quite a screenplay, right?
No,
screenplay is more exact.
So that's like,
right?
Yeah, exactly. So that would be, you would have lines and the script is kind of put together. A treatment would just be like the idea of what your movie is about. And maybe you could dive into the character ideas a little bit. But it's just more of like an overarching idea of what the film is about, or TV show, or whatever it is.
What actors do you look up to? You've mentioned Denzel Washington. Any others?
Man, Denzel, Will Smith,
and why?
DiCaprio. I just respect the greats. You gotta respect the greats, and you gotta learn from the greats what you can, because ultimately I want to be great. And I just realized with really paying attention and watching all those guys, there's just so much dynamic to their acting. I think that's what makes them great. I mean, their work ethic, obviously, but they just have like a certain dynamic that a lot of other actors don't have. And it's just like when you watch them and they're doing a scene, there's the true tone, and then there's like underlying tones, and there's like tones all around it. Like it's just like they're just everything. They're just amazing performers. It's crazy. It's crazy to watch.
On that a little bit?
Yeah. So, for instance, like one thing I was kind of talking about this in another podcast is like one thing about Denzel is like when he does like a really like raw, gritty scene, and it's is angry or something like that. You don't just get anger from him. You might get anger, and you also might get a little bit of amusement. Like he's almost amused that you would think that it's okay to anger me. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's just like that's so complex to be able to just deliver that. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to say. You know what I mean? So how can you just like deliver it just like that? And so just to be able to do that, like that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. And that's what the greats do. And so that's something that I want to be able to do. And so, yeah.
Speaking of looking up to the greats for inspiration in general, you actually wrote a book within the last year.
Yeah, man. And
that seemed to push a lot of inspirational tones in it. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the book is titled You Are. And actually, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I wrote the book. I did the due diligence of making the book happen, but I never really pushed it. I just kind of put it out, and I was like, hey guys, if you want to check out the book, like go for it. You know what I mean? I never really pushed it. I never really had a marketing plan for it. I never even did hard copies. That's definitely something I want to revisit and something I actually want to put together and edit together and really make happen and actually put some effort, some real effort into. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. What I found inspiration to write the book is because a lot of people that follow me, and I was kind of talking to a lot of guys when I would meet them, or even just via online. I realized that a lot of guys that follow me kind of struggle with feeling secure, understanding that they have a purpose, that they have value. Yeah. And those are all things that I feel like I've been pretty blessed to be secure in. And so I just kind of wanted to write a book to encourage others in understanding that there is meaning to your being, that you have value, that there is a reason for your existence. Like you're not just on this planet just to eat Chick-fil-A and work out. If that's what you want to do, like great, but there is so much more potential for your life. There's so much more like being called out of you. There's a shift in like who you are. And it's a need. Like there's a need for you. Even if it's just one person that you need to have a conversation with and you need to help shape their life, like there's a need for you in that one person, but you're not just here just to exist. Yeah. That's my point.
I saw a quote you wrote. You said it's about the book. It's a testament to our potential and nothing less powerful.
100%.
I love it.
100%. Yeah, man.
Giving the audience a little bit of a feel about kind of the tone of the book. I mean, is it kind of like a self-help vibe, like maybe a little bit like Tim Ferriss action, kind of something like that, or like?
I would just say that it's a call to action and understanding that you have value. There's a call to action and understanding that you're worth something. Well, I guess it could kind of fall along the lines of self-help, but I never really thought of it as that. I just kind of thought of it as me just trying to encourage. You know what I mean?
Well, I think self-help has a negative connotation at times, but I mean, dude, I read the books.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people do.
For sure.
Shout out to Tony Robbins. I mean, he's the GOAT of self-help.
Yes, sir.
So there's definitely value in that as well. What was the process of writing the book like for you? I mean, putting that pen to paper, were you typing or like?
Man, it was a lot of long nights. Yeah, I typed it all out.
Stream of consciousness? I mean, what was your?
It was just like if I had an idea or I had a thought, if I went to church and heard a sermon and something like resonated with me, it's like I jot that down and then I expand on it later, maybe do some research, see what like the science behind certain ideas were and stuff like that, the history behind certain things, and just kind of put it together. I remember it was just a lot of nights of like just lighting a candle, getting in front of my laptop, putting on some Kenny G, vibing, and just writing, Yeah.
How long did it take you?
I would say maybe it took me about 6 to 8 months. I don't remember exactly. What about 6 to 8 months, I would say.
Did you have the goal of writing this book, or were you just kind of writing? And you're like, oh, I can tie this together.
I was just kind of writing at first, and then I actually was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, why don't you just make it a book? Yeah. I was just like, yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's 2018, man. The self-publishing life is real.
Real. It's really real.
Talking about your release 2.0, what are you kind of thinking for a strategy for that? Maybe an Amazon release, or what do you think?
I'm still working on that, but I definitely do know I want to do hard copies. I definitely want to do hard copies. Like I did 0 hard copies last time. I don't even have one for myself. Yeah. So hard copies is definitely something. Maybe do like a book release event or something like that. And then definitely do some online sales. But I want to push more of a hard copy thing than just like a PDF. Yeah. Or like a Kindle version. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Is there anywhere that you could plug for the audience to go check out your book at this current time at all?
No. That's why I literally dropped the ball on my book, man. I dropped the ball on it. I wrote it, and I think it's a really good book, and it has a lot of value, and it has a lot to offer people. But I just kind of dropped the ball on it. It happens.
He's human, everyone.
I am. And so it's just like you just gotta readjust and reapproach. Yeah. That's what you need to do. So
I mean, I totally understand it, man. I mean, I don't think people talk enough about the balls that they drop and how they're going to recover from them. You know,
100%.
I think people like to just skirt over them, especially in LA.
100%. Because everyone wants to have this image of like, I'm amazing. I'm doing so well. Look at me, blah, blah, blah. In LA. You know what I mean? Like I said before, man, once you take the smoke and mirrors away, everyone's human. You know, we all deal with the same struggles, just at different levels.
The acting, the book writing, and now writing music.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? I've seen your cover videos, your mashups, great voice. You had a voice coach for a while, right?
Yeah, man. I
mean,
and actually right before I moved to LA, I was actually pretty cool. I did a couple sessions with my voice coach from when I was like younger, when I was like a kid, doing musical theater. And so that was a really cool experience. But I just kind of decided, you know, I'm here in LA. I feel like LA is about, you know, spreading your wings, doing all the things that you can potentially be good at, and experimenting, you know, taking yourself out of comfort zones. And I was just like, man, maybe I should just get in the studio and try to make some music.
Yeah.
And it's been a really cool experience. We actually were in the studio last night recording like some really cool video footage and just like laying down some vocals and stuff like that. And it was like really, really dope. And I don't know, it just pulled something different out of me. Something that I never really thought about pulling out of myself. And it's been pretty rewarding. I can't wait to put it out. It's going to be cool.
What about when it comes to your sound? Where do you find inspiration from? I personally get an R&B vibe, kind of rhythmic.
It's funny, bro,
bluesy.
because it's really funny because I felt like for so long I didn't know what I sounded like, because you know, when you're in musical theater, like you're always singing for a character. Like you're never singing for yourself.
Is it kind of like the Disney vibe too? Like that kind of singing? Or
my music or
No, the theater. Not your music. I mean, that'd be a different kind of Disney movie.
Well, theater's definitely kind of like kind of Disney. It's musical. It's musical. Disney's musical.
Yeah, so it's just
like
completely different.
Yeah.
Left field compared to
it's just very, very different than my own singing style. And so I feel like I'm still finding my singing. I'm finding my sound. I'm still doing that. It's not like I just have it. Like it's something that's definitely taking some progress and taking some work and taking some effort to realize and to find.
Yeah, who do you look up to in music?
Man, so many people. I'm a huge fan of Chris Brown, huge fan of John Legend, huge fan of Robin Thicke, like just those three people have so many, like three totally different sounds. So man, Michael Bublé.
John Legend just has like swag, by the way.
Yeah, he does, man. It's effortless. It's effortless.
I went to this event where he played on the roof of the Roosevelt Hotel for, I think it was like
Here?
Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah.
Oh, dope.
And he was also releasing his wine brand.
Oh, killer. I didn't even know he had one.
Yeah, it's LVE.
Is it with Chrissy?
Shout out to him. I think it's just his venture, actually. But he's got like a...
I know she does a lot of like food and
she does. I
cooking
think she has like a children's cookbook coming out, by the way. Shout out to Chrissy, man.
Killing it. Legends.
Really, they are. But I mean, man, John just has this kind of like... I want to say like a modern Sinatra vibe to him.
Yeah.
So cool, so smooth. And then I was leaving the iHeartMedia office like 2 weeks ago, and I opened the door, and I look at who's coming in, and there he is, John Legend. And I'm like,
killer.
Oh. I'm like, John? And he's like, yep. And he just walks in. I'm like, all right, man. I mean,
so dope.
I guess we'll rock it like that.
It's so dope.
But yeah, man, cool guy. When it comes to your team that you work with production, you said you don't play an instrument, you work with a producer.
Yeah.
Would you say that he kind of helps shape how you sing? I mean, he's giving you some instruction as well?
Yeah, for sure. We work together. He's kind of helped me a lot with theory, and when it comes to like, you know, how maybe like a song should move or a vocal should move and stuff like that. He's definitely helped me a lot with that. But I definitely think I also have a lot of raw instincts that are kind of cool. And so just because I have a background in performance, so like a lot of things kind of come natural to me just because of the years of working in it.
Definitely.
But and even with acting, because I feel like honestly singing is basically vocal acting, especially when you're in the studio. It's basically vocal acting. Like you're trying to convey an emotion. You're trying to convey
in key though.
Yeah, exactly. In key, an idea. But even in acting, like on film, like you listen to film actors, normally when they're acting, like their tonality and their pitch is pretty good. It's not like they're just talking.
That's true.
Like they have a certain.
It's kind of consistent, right?
Yeah, it's basically singing. Like acting is basically singing. They're basically the same thing. If you ask me, I feel like they are.
When can we expect this music to come out, man?
Man, so I'm trying to drop.
What platforms?
All of them. I think
Spotify, SoundCloud.
Oh, I think. I mean, I'm working with the team right now to figure out any
hard releases, or are you just sticking to digital?
I think digital.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe vinyl could be cool though. He's giving me ideas.
That'd be dope.
Vinyl could be kind of dope.
I'm sure you have some followers that'd be into that.
Yeah, for sure.
Vinyl's hot, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It kind of has like that raw, earthy sound to it. It'd be really dope. But yeah, I'm trying to release something on my birthday, November 9th. So the plan at first, I wanted to just
Time's a ticking, man.
I wanted to just drop an EP.
Yeah.
And like 5 songs on that. And that was my plan at first. But after talking to the team and like kind of like going back to the drawing board, we were like, well, you've never really put out music. And so it was kind of my ego wanting to drop an EP. It's like, I just wanted to do that to like put out a project, you know?
Yeah.
But the best cause of action for this is just basically going to be to release a single and maybe release another single just to start getting people familiar with the music, familiar with my sound.
Yeah.
And then at some point do an EP. So the plan hopefully is a single November 9th on my birthday. That's a Friday, so it's literally the perfect day to do it.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I mean, man, how do you feel about the current state of the music industry too? I mean, I feel like it's the time of singles. People aren't
100%.
sitting through albums as much anymore. 100%, I feel like,
100%. In the R&B world, though, it's kind of shifting back to that kind of like 2000s like vibe in a sense with a new age sound. You know what I mean?
I say listen to some throwback T-Pain
and even T-Pain's coming out with a bunch of new stuff recently. So yeah, just to even hit on that a little bit more. But I think it's cool. So the thing is I'm doing this music thing just because, like I said, I feel like it's a talent that I have, and it's so I should pursue it. I shouldn't just sit on the talent. You know, it's something that I should put some effort into, and that's why I'm doing it ultimately. So I don't feel like I'm too wrapped up in the whole like music industry idea or feeling like I need to be a certain way or do a certain thing to like fit a certain mold. I'm just gonna do my best to put out great work, and that's literally it.
I was kind of focusing more on just kind of consumer culture. Like, what do you think people are saying through nowadays?
Oh, okay,
you know?
I got you. Yeah, but I think that if you put together a good project and it's good music, people are gonna listen to it. But I do also understand like when it comes to like the dollar sense, that singles are what are doing well, and so even on an album, people are trying to put an album of singles together. You know what I mean?
feel like all around attention span too.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, in every industry now, social media, and just like our immediate access to everything with our phones just makes you want to listen to something. I remember when the Lil Wayne album just dropped. So many dope tracks on that. I listened to it for like 2 days and I was like, damn, I need some new music.
Jacob and I were just talking about that. I was like, do you have any tracks that stand out to you on that? And we were kind of talking about a couple, but I mean, I got to be honest. I only listened to it for like a day or two, and then I kind of was on the next one. Shout out to Lil Wayne though, man. I respect it. He's a GOAT.
No, 100%.
But
I'm excited. I think he's got a lot more stuff coming out soon too, because I know he had like a lot of legal issues and stuff like that with
Birdman.
Everything. Yeah.
When it comes to a release of, let's say, some music, a single or a project, like a film, or you pushing out content for a brand with your production company, what's your strategy with social marketing?
So that's something that I'm still learning and working in. But I mean, it's just really about building a coherence to whatever it is that you're putting out. You know, getting people familiar with whatever it is that you're putting out, remaining consistent. And just finding new ways to get the word out or the knowledge out or the product out to people. You know, I feel like everyone's doing pretty much the same thing on social, so sometimes you just gotta figure out a way to get creative about doing whatever it is to convey your message. Yeah, it's the best way to do it.
What about when it comes to just you personally? I mean, what's your strategy with, like, you know, maybe growing your Instagram following or your YouTube? I mean, maybe a couple pieces about that.
So I actually posted a photo, I think yesterday. It's kind of speaking about how I feel like I've kind of dropped the ball on those things just because I've been so focused on, this is the thing, like I'm a hard worker, and sometimes that's to a fault because like I'll decide I want to work on something, i.e. this music project, and then now that's taking all of my focus, all of my energy, and like, you know, I'm not putting my energy and focus into other things like I could be putting into socials, or I could be putting into YouTube videos and stuff like that, or I could be even putting into like my personal health, my fitness, stuff like that. And so I feel like I've been dropping the ball on that a lot lately, and so I feel like I'm actually in like a process of like really reformatting what I want to do and how I want to approach what I need to do. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think you hit a really good point there. There's always something you can do, especially when you're trying to work in entertainment. Mm-hmm. One thing I realized also is you also have to be able to give yourself a break sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
hard to justify sometimes.
It is.
Oh? Yeah.
Yeah. How do you give yourself a break every once in a while?
I don't know. I just kind of take opportunities when, you know, if like a friend's like, hey, we got this going on, like you kind of want to join, then you know I'll probably reconsider, go back and forth. I was actually just like I was in Vancouver a couple of days ago, and I was talking with her about it on the phone, and I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go. Like back and forth, and it wasn't until literally like 12 hours before we left I decided like, okay, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, it seemed amazing, man. Was that for the film festival, right?
So I went out there with some buddies for a buddy's birthday, actually. And that's why I kind of got the invite to go. And then, yeah, the Vancouver International Film Festival was going on when I was there. So I tried to go out there to see if I could network and, you know, make anything happen with some people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I was taking a break, but with the potential to hopefully, like, make something happen.
Well,
you know what I mean? It's got to be a justifiable break. I'm
kind of the same way because if I do take a break, I don't want to just be stagnant or idle.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, still hands, they say, are the work of the devil, or they say that, you know, it's just, although, you know, you want to take a break and maybe take a back seat from worrying about your issues, I mean, it doesn't mean you can't go be productive, like with fitness, or
for sure.
Go catch a film, you're studying something, having that release or escapism, right?
Exactly. It's all about your mindset, because I definitely think that you can find value in everything around you. It's just about you deciding what it is that you want to actually take in and how focused you want to be on actually finding that value. I think there's definitely value in everything. And everything, and you can take a lesson from everything if you sit there and think about it long enough. What's
a tip that you could give to the listeners when it comes to social strategy? I mean, everyone, it's kind of a buzz thing right now, and I like to get a little piece from each of my interviews on some input and strategy on how people can grow their following. I mean, what is something you've picked up along the way?
The biggest thing I think when it comes to growing any sort of following or any sort of relationship in life in general, because the same concept applies, is just providing value, like figuring out how you can be of service of people, how you can be of service to people. Just remain consistent in that. Maybe you won't grow the huge following, I don't know, because that's not meant for everyone, but you'll definitely grow a following, and you'll grow a loyalty of following because you're remaining consistent and because you're being active in serving others. And ultimately that's what's going to take you far in life.
Yeah,
you know?
I 100% agree with providing value, because it's kind of like a trade, you know?
100%.
Let's talk about
a currency, kind of.
What, a following?
No, providing value.
Could you elaborate?
So, for instance, when let's say, okay, I have a little bit of understanding and experience in production, and I have someone else who has understanding and experience in some other area. We can help each other and balance each other. I can give him my trade service, he can give me his trade service.
Oh, kind of like bartering.
Value. So
right?
That's what I mean. Like the value you offer can be used as a currency.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. You know, for example, okay, let's say you have a lot of exposure and you need someone to cut some videos. Maybe someone will help you out with those videos.
For sure.
And trade with some exposure. So there's a perfect example right there. Javon, we're talking about your acting experience and you're passing the fitness culture as well. We talked about that briefly. What about when it comes to getting ready for like these shirtless roles, or potentially having to do a shirtless role?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I see you doing hill sprints, getting it done in the morning. I mean, walk me through what's your fitness regimen and what's the purpose of it?
It's kind of cool, because I feel like when you do different things and you try out different experiences and you work hard in different areas of life, it always kind of comes back together. And so just my experience in the fitness industry and, working with Christian and working with Alphalete and like building on my physique for the past 2 years before I moved to LA has been so beneficial since I moved here, because it's helped me book roles. It's helped me book things. Like I've done stuff for like Beachbody. I did a hosting job for Beachbody. And just like, booking roles where I might have to be shirtless.
Yeah.
Like I was in that film. And so it's just like, when you work hard in different areas, it kind of helps you bring those things together later in life. And it's kind of cool to just see how it all comes together. But I think now it's just really benefited me to learn what I have learned, being around all my like amazing friends that do fitness and like really do that thing at the highest level, just to like learn what I can do and how I can shape myself and what like small things that I can implement to really just kind of help bring my physique together and shape myself. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's helped a lot.
What about, so you've done a couple shirtless jobs. You just did the Shark Tank, which that was killer. That was cool, man. That'd be a cool moment. What was that like, by the way?
That was dope. So basically being on Shark Tank and
you were like a merman, right?
I was a merman.
Yeah.
But doing that was basically just for me, was a relationship builder. So I worked with a producer on another project, and she hit me up and she was like, "Hey,
Sony lot, right?"
Yeah, it was. We shot at Sony Studios. And she hit me up and she was like, "Hey, I need someone to do this job. Basically, would you be interested?" And so for me, I was just like, you know what? Like, I want to definitely keep this relationship strong. I want to let her know that I'm willing to work. I want to let her know that, like, whenever I do something, I'm going to do it the best that I can. And so I was just like, let's do it, you know? And so that was more of the incentive for me going on Shark Tank. Not necessarily I had a desire to do that job or a desire to do that role. Sometimes it's just like you need to do what you need to do to, you know, build those relationships, sustain those relationships, and show people that you're willing to work and do a great job, because you never know how that's going to come back around, you know?
Yeah.
And so that was 100% the reason why. And I dieted for that.
Do you have like a prep week for that? Like, what was the whole process? Because some people drink a lot of water so they can get
I can't remember exactly what I did, but I definitely hit up one of my buddies that is a coach, and I was like, "Hey man, like, this is what I need to do. I need to tighten up for the show, blah blah. What should I do?" And he kind of gave me a regimen.
The overarching purpose of your fitness is for acting, though, at this current time, right?
Yeah, at this stage.
It was always performance-based too, I heard, right? Like, you were always focused on sports. There's never so much aesthetics.
Yeah, so
aesthetics are nice, though.
Yeah, aesthetics are nice, but I've always played sports. Yeah, I want to still be able to play sports. I just joined the flag football league. I want to be able to go out there and still ball a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't want to go out there and be stiff and, you know, can't catch a ball or can't move fast, can't be agile, and so on.
Yeah.
I'm an athlete at heart, so I've always wanted to, you know, remain with that. I never really had a desire to be huge. I've just kind of always had a desire to, like, you know, look good and play good. So
there you go, man. Javon, he's investing in his fitness, and he's getting some ROI on that too. I love that.
Yes, sir.
So kind of closing out, what I love asking this one. What have you struggled with throughout this process?
I think that, and I talk about it a lot, like with people I'm close with, is that the thing that I've struggled with the most and in this stage in my life is really just learning how to be a man. I can't really say that I ever really had a really clear and concise example of what it means to be a great man in my life. I've had like kind of like examples in certain areas here and there, but I've never really just had one overarching, like, straight, like, one person I can think of. It was just like, that person's been a part of my life and that is a phenomenal man. So that's kind of been my biggest struggle, is just like learning how to do it. And it's exciting, it's fun. And it's not a sad thing.
Kind of like finding your identity as a man, or
just learning how to be one, man. Learning how to
like
say
what's
no,
right.
Learning when to say no, how to say no. Learning how to treat women. Learning how to, you know, manage business, how to manage your time, how to manage your finances, like just everything, literally everything. I feel like those are all things that kind of like are what it means to be a man. How to be a leader, how to have tough conversations, how to just everything. You know what I mean? And I feel like I've been at a point in my life where that's like my biggest learning curve, or my biggest learning facet, because for so long I was just kind of going with the flow. Like, I went to college and like I was just in college, you know, and I got out of college and I was just like working. I wasn't really like trying to be a better man. I was just like living life, you know what I mean? And so now it's just like that's my focus, is I want to be a great man. I want to be a great actor. I want to be a great, you know, musician, if that's where my life leads. I want to be a lot of things, everything that I do I want to be great at, but being a great man, it's like it's really important to me, and it's kind of like a deep-seated like desire that's kind of new to me, and I'm excited about it. So that's been the biggest struggle, I would say.
Do you also kind of pursue a part of that with your faith as well?
Definitely. I think they go hand. I think they go hand in hand. With being a Christian, for myself, I feel like I can't be a great man unless I am actively pursuing my relationship with Christ. That's just how I feel about it. And so they definitely go hand in hand for me.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's kind of like a formula. I mean, like, you got to have a piece from here, a piece from there. I mean, you know, you got your health, your psyche, your faith.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's good, man. That's good. You got to be willing to be well-rounded and well-shaped in different areas. And so that's just basically the pursuit I'm in.
And how do you handle adversity, man?
I think I handle adversity pretty well.
I mean, I think we kind of had the answer a bit. I mean, you take an L and you turn into a W for the most part, or inspiration, it seems like.
Yeah, man. I'm a pretty optimistic person, and you kind of touched on my faith a little bit, and I feel like my faith is pretty unwavering from what I've seen so far. I mean, maybe I haven't been through enough to really say that, but I do feel like my faith is pretty unwavering, and so no, I'm a pretty unbothered person. Like, when things happen, I kind of let it go, and I just refocus and reshape to the next thing. And so you know, bad things happen, I just kind of like, I take it as it is, take a deep breath, and, you know, try to keep it moving. So I feel like I handle adversity pretty well.
You're saying kind of your faith is a rock for you through adversity too in that way, right?
Yeah. And so basically what I mean by that is just understanding that, all things are going to work, for those that love Christ. And so, and that's something that I believe 100% wholeheartedly. And so that just kind of grounds me. It's just like, oh, like this is happening. It's negative. Okay, cool. It's going to work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it might suck right now. It might be terrible right now when you're going through something, but I feel like when you have that pillar to hold on to, ultimately, like that it's going to be okay. So like,
yeah,
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's literally just that simple to me. It sounds kind of like it's easier said than done, but I feel like it's just done. Like for me,
I agree. I mean, I feel like more people need faith in LA in general too.
100%.
Side note,
100%. I agree.
What has your experience been with trying to keep your faith strong while you've been kind of touring through? I mean, LA parties.
Interesting, man. Yeah, because like you go to these LA parties. I mean, sometimes.
When Jacob and I were talking to me, you don't see a lot of people strong in faith in entertainment all the time too.
100%.
There have been some good examples recently, though. 100%.
Yeah,
but Chris Pratt, for example.
It's just about keeping what's important to you and making sure that you spend the time. And you keep your focus on it. And it's kind of like a weird thing when you're like a Christian in like a city like LA, because one, there's a lot of like false ideas that Christians have, and like false expectations that we put on ourselves because we're Christian. And so it makes it hard to navigate your career, and even just like the LA culture, even for instance, when you're being 100% religious about certain ideas and things, when I don't think that we're called to necessarily be religious. I think that we're just called to relationship with Christ. And so that just kind of makes it kind of difficult.
Could you elaborate on that, by the way? We're not called to be religious. We're called to have a relationship. Are you saying kind of like we're not called to just live this rule book?
Exactly. So I feel like a lot of Christians, like that's how they perceive Christianity, is like, Christianity is about what you're not supposed to do so that you can be a good person. And I don't agree with that. I think that as a Christian, and I mean, even in the New Testament, like this is what Jesus says. Like he says, and if you follow Christ, like, you got to listen to what he says. He says that the two most important laws is to love God, love your Father God with all your heart, and love others as you do yourself. And if those are the two most important things, then why are we so focused on what we ought not to do? You know what I mean? We should be more focused on what we are supposed to do. Yeah. And so to me, I think that as you pursue Christ and as you pursue the importance of that in your life, certain things you're gonna have a peace about, and certain things you're not gonna have a peace about. And when you don't have a peace about those things, then those things probably need to be removed. But if you don't feel, and obviously you need to have people that are checking you as well, and people that you can look up to and stuff like that. But if you don't feel that you're doing something that's wrong, then you can't necessarily just cut it out just because someone else tells you not to do it. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so, like, for instance, like with going out, like I go out a decent amount, but when I go out, I'm not going out to get drunk. I'm not going out to party. I'm not going out to like get wild to hook up with girls. Like that's just not my prerogative. I mean, it might be someone else's prerogative. And that's obviously the connotation that most people have when, and I'm not gonna lie, like I drink, like I do drink, but I'm not like trying to get blackout wasted.
Jesus
and like,
turned water into wine.
Exactly. at a wedding party. So it's like, I do those things, but I don't feel guilty about them in any sense because I'm a Christian. Like I feel like I'm just, I'm enjoying myself, but I'm enjoying myself with under the parameters of what I feel like is right. You know what I mean? But a lot of Christians would be like, no, you're not supposed to go out. You're not supposed to drink. You know what I mean? And we'll even contour.
Look who's tripping up now. I got you, man.
Yeah, I know, right? But it'll basically take like scriptures and stuff like that and like, take it for what they want it to mean and not necessarily what it might actually mean or what it's being left open to perceive. You know what I mean?
What about when it comes to anyone who hasn't really had an experience in faith? Do you have any kind of starting point you ever point your friends to, or like acquaintances that have asked you about your faith?
Well, hopefully it starts with me. And that's always going to hopefully be my goal, is that I'm actually living my life out to be a light to people and to show others that, like, it's okay, one, to, well, this is more for like my Christian friends that are like kind of like not confident in it in a way. But that it's okay to like be a Christian. Like, it's not weird. Like it's just who you are. It's what you believe. You know what I mean? It's not like it shouldn't be like a touchy subject. Like it's just who you are. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's who I am. It'd be more work to hide it than it is to, talk about it or to show it. And so that's kind of what's important to me. But when it comes to, you know, just kind of guiding others, I just hope that like they could see something in me that shows them that maybe I got something right. You know what I mean? And if that can help encourage them in a way, and if that can show them, because remember, like I was saying, like the second most important law is to love others as you do yourself. So if that's what I'm gonna do, then hopefully I can be able to show others that, like, you know, there's something in me that that might be lacking in other areas or in other people, and they might want a taste of that. You know, and that's kind of how I hope to like live my life, to be able to make those introductions.
I mean, that's kind of how my girlfriend Kim, that's how her mom and her family turned to a Christian. I think their friend that they ran into in elementary school just had something kind of different about her.
Crazy.
That she liked, right?
Yeah.
And they came to find out that, you know, she was really active in her church, and that thing that she felt like was different slowly found its way into my girlfriend's mother's life.
Just being a light, man, standing out, and, you know, having that thing that's just magnetic in a way.
I feel like that's a lot more attractive to people who aren't religious, rather than like the people standing out with the picket signs and everything like that at events, you know? Which
I 100% disagree with. Like all the Christian hate, like, and like talking down, like, that's not your job. Like, it's not your job. Like who are you? You're a sinner, just like everyone else is that you're trying to condemn. You know what I mean? And even in the way that you're doing this right now, to me, I don't know necessarily if it necessarily is a sin, but to me, like, you're like, it should be. You know, like you're not helping anyone by condemning them. Like you're not. How is that helping someone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
so and I get the idea of like holding people accountable, because I think that's very necessary in life, but not when you think that you're like better than someone because you're Christian, because you're not. Like that's what being Christian is about, is that we're all flawed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I can't stand that stuff.
I mean, you guys heard it, man. There's a little dose of inspiration and a little dose of faith right there. I love it.
Let's get it.
Any churches you recommend in LA, by the way, for anyone who's kind of in the local area?
Yeah, man. I've really been enjoying Oasis, which is funny too, because I've realized that I've enjoyed, maybe I shouldn't say this, but I feel like I've enjoyed Oasis more with their interim pastor. So I'm hoping that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. But I mean, shoot, I just feel like I've learned more from him. I feel like I've learned more from him, and I've taken more from his messages, and I feel like he's challenged me more. I think I know his name is Julian, but I think it's Julian Smith. I'm not sure what his last name is. Yeah, Oasis is a really good church that I've been going to. It's funny, like the church scene in LA is kind of funny, because it feels like, I don't know, sometimes it just doesn't feel too authentic. It feels like, you know, it still feels kind of Hollywood, which is like
weird. I mean, I don't want to throw shade. We could cut this out later if it is shade, but like Jacob and I, we've gone to like City Church. Man, that's dope. I love Judah, but I get that vibe a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Not every service.
I haven't been there, but I've heard the same thing. That's Wednesday night, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's dope, man. I get charged up from it, and they usually give off a good message, in my opinion. But pastors are rocking Gucci, blah blah blah. You know,
which
everyone's dressed up to the nine.
I don't really see anything wrong with that.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
like nice
you see the LA vibe kind of seep into it.
Yeah,
and you know, whether that's bad or good, I'm not really a judger of that. But
I just feel like if you're going to church and you're not, certain things aren't being called out of you, or you're not being challenged, then you're really just going to a motivational speech. Which is cool, but that's not the gospel. So that's where it just kind of like, where I feel like churches are kind of weird in LA a little bit. But which I also get, because I feel like there's also kind of a need to kind of meet people where they are a bit, but at the same time, like, truth is truth. So it's like a weird back and forth kind of thing. But I think Oasis is a really good church.
Go check it out, Oasis.
Yeah.
LA. Closing out, man. Any advice you got for anyone aspiring to act, be creative, writing, everything?
Well, do what you can at whatever level that you are. Maximize your resources. Utilize what you can. So, like, for me right now, like I kind of touched on and talked about the idea of me working on these films in Belize and stuff like that, because that's a market that I have available to myself, and that's a resource that I have. Obviously, I want to be doing huge Hollywood films and stuff like that, but maybe the conventional route is not the route that I need to take. Maybe it needs to be me doing things and pursuing things in a whole nother country, and trying to make things happen in that way on my own before I ever actually even get a shot in like the real big time Hollywood stuff. So don't be so focused on, where you see other people are, where you see, the greats are and stuff like that. Just do what you can where you are, keep working, and wait for the next opportunity to come. And then when you got it, and take it and kill it again, and rinse and repeat.
You heard it. I love that.
Yeah.
And what can we look forward to in the future, man?
So music.
We're looking at that story you got in the works in Belize. You got your music
I don't know what that timeline is going to take like to get a movie done. I mean, I would love to try to get it filming by like spring, summer, but I got a lot of work to do if I'm going to do that. Like I got to write a script. I got to retreat the script. I got to do it over and do it over and do it over. And then until I finally have it, and then we got to pitch it. And then we got to find the actors, and we got to figure out what kind of timeline we want to shoot on and editing, everything. So, but I definitely think that it is a goal that can happen. It just needs to, I need to put my grind to it, and be a leader in that and make it happen. But yeah, so that would be awesome. Music. I'm working on music. Hopefully I'll have something out November 9th on my birthday. That'd be amazing.
You guys better blow up, Javon. If he does, I'm just saying.
We'll see. I gotta let you listen to some of it.
Hell yeah.
So that revamping the book, Alvin Agency. That's what I'm calling that, talent agency. I already registered the business license and everything. So
wait, with the two separate things: revamping the book and
the talent
Alvin agency. Right?
Yeah.
I like that.
So those are kind of the biggest goals right now. I think that's enough to focus on.
I like that, man. And following, yeah, it is. It was a lot. Actually, sorry, I had one big question.
What's up, man?
Jack of all trades, master of none. That quote. Your thoughts, man?
I kind of agree. I think because for me, acting, directing, those are the things I want to master. Everything else kind of comes with a piece of understanding that maybe I won't be the best in, and that's fine. Maybe I won't be my best in, and that's fine. But I still want to be great. I mean, I think that like even if I feel like there's still room between like master and novice, you know? Yeah. And so maybe I won't be a master in this area, but hopefully I can still be pretty damn good at it.
Definitely.
And then be a master in something else.
I mean, I gotta say, Donald Glover, he's multi-talented.
Remarkable.
So there has been people that have done more than 2 things, more than 3 things. So especially in this time too, I feel like it's more possible than ever to be successul at
for sure. Almost in like this day and age of creatives and in entertainment especially, you kind of have to be, or at least be willing to be flexible enough to at least try it.
I feel like, or else you kind of get looked over. If you're only good at one thing, someone will take the person that's good at 2. So that's part of it. It's part of competition too, right?
Man.
All right, man. You guys heard it. Javon Alvin.
Yeah, appreciate you having me on the show, bro.
Man.
It's been awesome.